about this series and just talk more about your work in general. We obviously have you on because we are so impressed with everything that you're doing in the breast community, and I think this is one of the important aspects of your career that you've really made a difference.
Yeah, so something that I started last summer was called Common Ground Series Community Conversations. And this kind of grew out actually of an experience that I had in Boston when I was doing my undergrad. My senior year, I started going to this programming that they offered in the Howard Thurman Center that was, I think it was maybe the building or the program was called Common Ground, but there were these Friday coffee chats where every Friday anyone from the university could show up, and they had different topics that weren't always what you would expect to talk about with a group of strangers. And one of them that I specifically remember was the facilitator, moderator. He had said, women, do you guys plan your career now? You're like 18. Are you planning your career around being a mother? And I remember, it was the first time that I had really thought more about it, but it was also, there were men and women in the room, and having people from both sides share and I guess exploring this kind of uncomfortable at times topics. So through that sort of, community that was built, I didn't know any of these people. And over time, like we became closer. I don't know their names even, but I know that we had this shared experience. And that was one of the things that I kind of wanted to capture in this community conversation series that I have. And in doing so one of the first ones we had, I say we, it's me, that I put on. I'm the creator of this series and the moderator, and I did all the social media posts and curated all of the panels and set everything up. And one of the first ones that we had was a Black artist panel. And so this series grew, out of an idea that came into my head after about a week of reflecting after the murder of George Floyd. And in doing so, I realized we really need to start talking, and not just about things that are comfortable to share, but about things that, we need some visibility in a lot of these issues. There's a lot to unpack as a Black artist, as just an artist in general, as educators. So this first one, the Black artist panel, then grew into a K through 12 music education equity panel, where it was people like Weston Sprott, who's the dean of the Juilliard Pre-College and the Music Advancement Program. And also in there, we had people like Samantha Tyson, who runs a program that I worked for out here in LA called the Music Immersion Experience. That's an El Sistema-like program for elementary school students. And having us all kind of talk about, your students are typically from disadvantaged backgrounds that you work with. How are they experiencing this pandemic, and what, resources are you making available to them in doing so? And so it sort of developed, and one of the most exciting ones that has also formed into something was the last one that I had. All of these videos, these live streams took place over the entire month of June, I believe, of 2020. And the last one was a Black female brass players panel. And this one grew into a project that is now called the Chromatic Brass Collective. So, and it's a group of, Black women and women of color who have created a space to, one, highlight their playing and, create an ensemble to do that. And also network, create a space that everyone can sort of come together and share resources and create a community. And so I think in going forward, this series is going to become a part of Creativity with Chloe in a way that what I like about the Common Ground series was the actionable part of it. What I liked was in the last video, something actually became of it. A group started out of the ideas that were cultivated. And then from there, also through the International Women's Brass Conference, there was also funding created as a sort of like, visibility of there are these people who exist, and we would like a space and money to also be able to showcase that. And so, so in doing all of this, I guess a future direction that I'm looking forward to is figuring out these actionable items. What can you as an individual do? Because that is one part of this main component of the community conversation series that I wish there had been, that I had actively done more to make sure that individuals felt empowered to be a part of the creative process and part of the change that each of these communities said that they wanted to see. So that's definitely something that I'm also mindful of in a shortcoming of that series that I want to rectify and be much more, aware of going forward.